Hi again everyone, hope you're all doing well. In today's video, I'll be going over everything coming to EXCOM with version 1.2.0 releasing today. This update adds a weather system, a lockpicking system, and a container system, as well as a variety of small changes to already in place systems. With all that in mind, let's begin. Let's start with the biggest footnote addition, the weather system. Weather is governed by the TWSRS combination. Each value of the combination is determined using the native Excel choose function and EXCOM's AI month and hour values. This works out to map to 4 12 by 24 matrices, with each matrix generating a value for each of the 4 variables that make up the TWSRS combination. Once the return values are finalized for the matrices, they are then further interpreted depending on the variable that is being reviewed. For instance, a return value of 9 for temperature is hot, whereas a return value of 9 for sun is calm. The season string is selected via the Northern Hemisphere meteorological seasons. December is winter, July is summer. All strings are then combined alongside the season string to form the unique string result, which is the TWSRS combination. Now, during gameplay, I can't say for certain that all combinations will appear, but all possible permutations have been accounted for, so just in case, there will always be a weather for you. It's kind of like the opposite of the mailman's creed. I'm there to make sure that snow or rain or heat or gloom at night is there to stop you from completing your appointed rounds. If you want to play around with the climates, the new Weather Maker sheet inside the Helper tool can help you visualize or even generate new weather profiles. This means if you prefer the Southern Hemisphere meteorological seasons, where December marks the start of summer, you can do that. Or if you just want to make it snow way more, you can do that too. You can even make new weather, but you'll need to define that by yourself. It's all configurable, and while I don't recommend it, you can give it a whirl. Otherwise, for right now, the weather does nothing. I'm hoping in the future to add some effects. I got a few ideas I'd like to tinker with come my winter staycation, but time got away from me this update. The next piece of update news is the lock-picking system, or as I'm calling it, logic picking. Instead of copying Skyrim's minigame of manipulating a lockpick to find a sweet spot, I went a different route. It's Sudoku. If you solve the puzzle, you unlock the object. Each difficulty level changes the grid size by 2. I was inspired by the Elder Scrolls difficulty levels, so I used them here. A novice lock is a simple 4x4 grid, and a master lock is a 12x12 grid. Why non-traditional grid sizes for Sudoku? And why Sudoku? Because I liked LinkedIn's 6x6 daily Sudoku challenge. Unlike in most games where you need lockpicks to even start the minigame, you can always start lockpicking in XCOM. Instead, logic picks, are spent to use certain minigame powers. You can spend a lockpick to randomly solve a column, a row, a block, or n number of cells. Every level you get in logic picking will let you start with a guilt-free logic pick and will unlock more powers such as auto notes or highlighting incorrect cells. To have a lock, you need to have something to lock. So, XCOM now supports persistent containers that can be locked. They work exactly how you think they should work. It's a box where you can store your items in and take items out. If you screen transition and come back, your items are still there. This is because, like NPC data, container data is saved as text files. So, big win on RAM optimization. I don't really know how to build hype around a box, but this system is the next step for other branches. For example, what is a vendor but a container which transfers money for each item you store? Or what is a house door but a really big sideways chest? How images are loaded got a bit of a rework. When loading an image now, XCOM will search the targeted file name by image type. You can select both what image types to search for and what order of prioritization of image types you want. What I mean is that if you have a GIF, PNG, and JPEG, and they are all called cool image, if you attempt to load cool image, it will load the file that first meets the prioritization order. If no files meet the image name and type prioritization, then a fallback error image will be loaded. This new image prioritization works for almost anywhere an image is loaded, whether it be for the player character sprites, NPC talking heads, or even world objects. Though for the effect to kick in, the image will need to be refreshed first. In addition to this, I also want to give the player character's animation an update, or at least have the option to do so. Therefore, in addition to the basic 2-directional sprite animation that's already implemented, 4-directional or 8-directional sprite animations can also be enabled. Base XCOM will most likely always use the 2-directional sprite animation, but just in case someone want to make an animation update in the future, myself included, the framework is in place to handle it. Dialogue has also been given some attention. Now, when dialogue is started or ended with an NPC, dialogue system commands, DSCSs, can trigger. In addition, each NPC can also have their own unique backdrop, which is now pulled from the game files instead of being embedded in XCOM. An NPC's backdrop is defined by the stat value column backdrop name. For a specific backdrop, you'll need to use the above file schema. For example, we'll load the backdrop within the Talking Heads folder. And as mentioned earlier, backdrops and talking heads both use the new image type priority system. And that was everything major in XCOM version 1.2.0. For minor changes, please see the changelog in the systems guide. There's nothing particularly flashy for this update to show off, which does suck, but the purpose of these early updates is to get the systems in place. So what can you do? As always, thank you so much for watching. If you have any feedback or ideas, please drop them in the comments below. And if you can, like, subscribe, and share the video around. It really helps the project grow. Take care, stay safe, and remember, you're excellent. Okay.